And I just realized that there was no music on the starting soon screen. How are you guys? Hello, Roan. Hello, Vessa. How are you both doing today? Oh my gosh, I feel like I've forgotten how to stream. I don't know what I'm doing anymore. How are you all doing today? How's everything going? I was legitimately, trying to figure out, like, how to set things up again. I've completely forgotten how streaming works. Been it's been a minute. Oh yeah. Hang on a sec. I'm not prepared at all. I tried to be prepared, but I'm not. Doing great, making another splash screen for Aiden from today's Inktober prompt. Ooh, nice. My attention is split, but like Roan, I'm very happy to see you. Thank you. I appreciate that. I really appreciate you guys coming and hanging out. I've been trying to, like, I don't even know what I really want to talk about. Like, I don't have a big spiel planned or anything. Things have just been, like, there's just been a lot going on, you know? Like, I don't know. I don't know how to go about explaining anything. Or, like, I don't know, but I can draw again, so that is the good news at least. Uh, I guess the easiest way to say it is like, you know, I sort of did a little bit of the Icarus thing. Flew a little too close to the sun, got a little carried away, ended up having to stop work for a long time, and then in that time, sort of reevaluating a lot of things, thinking about a lot of things, and kind of going through, I guess, what I would call a little bit of a artistic identity crisis recently. So, a lot of it is like nothing I can really talk about because it's all stuff that I'm not sure of myself. It's stuff where I'd like to ask for your patience because it's going to take me a while to figure a lot of this out, you know? I want to be there for you guys and I want to be a source of entertainment for you guys, but there's a lot that I have to sort of learn as I go, right? There's a lot of stuff that I want to try to figure out over time. Where I'm going with content, where I'm going as a VTuber, where I'm going with streaming, where I'm going with art, like that whole thing, I I feel like I have to rediscover it in a way, but not in a bad way. Like there's a lot of good in this. There's a lot of good to come out of this. But just a lot of introspection, I suppose, would be the best way to say it. Life is a journey and this is a step of yours. I know whatever you decide to do will be awesome. You're a good and talented person and not afraid to work hard for what you want. Thank you, Roan. I appreciate it. Welcome back here for the ride regardless where you go. Thank you, Lillian. And hello, Blank. How are you all doing today? Hello, Kaku. So, yeah, it's just, you know, we're gonna take it a step at a time. Things are still gonna be moving along. There's, you know, I'm still going to be doing art. I'm still going to be doing content. It just might look a little different and it's gonna take me a little bit of time to discover. But I'm hoping that whatever direction it goes in, that you guys still get a lot out of it and still find value in it. Step at a time is wiser than trying to jump the whole mountain at once. Yeah, true. True. But Yeah, if you're just coming in, basically, to summarize it, I'm just sort of figuring out where things are going from here. And I need to relearn OBS because right before I took the hiatus, I was gonna tell myself that I should do a completely fresh install of OBS from top to bottom because I think it's a bit broken on my end. So now everything is sort of like half broken and tricky to figure out, and I'm sort of jumping in from a... Bethla, you didn't need to do that. I really appreciate that, thank you. You didn't need to do that, but thank you so much. I really, really appreciate that. Oh, I'm getting teary. I was not expecting that. Oh, this is gonna be such a mess of a stream. Oh. Thank you, that's really sweet of you. I didn't count on being emotional, I'm sorry. Alright, alright, alright. No, Roan, just having you here means a lot, honestly. You guys are so supportive. And I'm just really grateful for you guys, honestly. Oh! This calming music doesn't help. Alright, alright. Let's try to get back to work, right? Let's try to get back to things. Whew. Alright, I'm gonna go to my main scene here, if I remember how to do any of this. Can you guys not hear any music on your end? Is the music not working twice? I don't know how any of this is anymore. I'm gonna jump to the main scene. Oh, okay. I guess we're not doing that today either. Why is everything so tricky? That's fine, that's fine. No music or it's super quiet? No? Nothing is ever working. Can you hear this at all if I'm turning it up? I just want to know if you guys can hear it in the slightest. No? Lillian. No music. Alright, hang on. I'm... Thank you, Lillian. Thank you so much. Really, thank you. Alright, let's see if I switch this over. I probably just have everything set up wrong. Does that work out? That should hopefully work, even if it's quiet. Thank you so much, Lillian. Your guys' support really means the world to me, honestly. And I don't mean to get teary, but I'm just really grateful for you guys. And I'm grateful for sort of, you know, sticking through with me while things have been, crazy. No? Nothing? Not even this direction? Alright, I think I need to reinstall OBS later and reset up everything because I think it's just very broken. How dare you have vulpine emotions? Ah. Audio's sketchy at best for me. Well, I'll try figuring it out for next time. If it makes you feel any better, Aiden was having a time with OBS on Thursday for his stream. I hope he's enjoying the streaming, though. We stick with you because we like you. We aren't going to ditch you just because you're focusing on your health. Still, I really appreciate it. Oh. Alright. I've left this in line art phase for long enough. Let's go and try working on something here. So I think what I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna start off with making sort of a nice, subtle background, and then I'll expand upon it if I need to. But I just want to have some sort of covering, so I'm not working on straight white. And I'll just kind of play around with the color a bit. Just to have something to work from. And then maybe a little bit darker to establish a shadow here. I feel a bit awkward that there's no music for you guys. I'm not sure why. I have two separate, directions that could be playing music from, and if neither are working, then that's not useful in the slightest. Hummus a tune? No. How dare thee not rend thy flesh and soul for us. Alright. Let me try, I'm gonna, try basing out some basic colors for this. The flowers are going to be a very deep red, so this background may not be fitting, but I'll have to experiment in figuring out what is the most fitting for this. So I'm just sort of going to get a base here for the vase. So I have something that I can establish and paint over later. And then I'm just sort of taking colors from the background as well. So one thing that I know that I... Kaku! Jeez. This was the last thing that I was prepared for, honestly. Thank you, Kaku. Thank you so much, Kaku. Thank you, Vessa. Thank you, Kaku. Thank you, Lillian. And thank you to those who are just, like, staying by and supporting and just chilling and... You guys are so sweet. I'm gonna feel like a broken record saying that, but it's true. Yeah, so the theme of the card is, like, birthday or get well soon. It's a birthday card. I just, yeah, it's not super fitting with the colors yet, so I'm definitely going to have to change that to be a little happier. It's a birthday card, and I was just advised to paint flowers, and, someone had recently, gifted me this vase of red flowers, so I figured that I could make a birthday card and then also send the flower giver a painting as well, and then I could sort of show them what I was able to make from the flowers in a way. I don't know if that makes any sense, but I thought it would sort of be a nice way to double up on the same painting. Is it my birthday? I don't know, is it? Do I have this on a separate layer? Okay, thank goodness. I was worried I didn't have it on a separate layer for a second. Hello, hello, Grendel! How's everything going? Welcome in, welcome in. So, one thing that I really want to try doing, with streams and everything, and, going forward, is I want to do a lot of sort of, experimental art type streams. I've sort of been taking the time to figure out who I'm inspired by and where I want to work, in terms of improving the actual quality of my work. So, one artist I'm very, very inspired by, have been for many years, is Fuzzy Choco, and if you've been on the stream before, I brought up their references a few times. If you remember the painting I brought up of the girl in the white dress, but there's like an entire rainbow in the dress itself, that is by the same artist. So I'm trying to learn how to paint in a way that I can add a rainbow of color, no matter what the subject is. So I wanted to try to take some inspiration from their work and see what I could do with a vase of red flowers. Remember that painting? It's so cool. She's my absolute favorite, honestly. Like, if I had to just study one artist, period, I'd probably choose Fuzzy Choco. I think that her knowledge and fantasy and mystique is just beyond. And I would love to get to her level one day. So, I want to take her knowledge of color theory and vibrancy and magic and try to develop that into my own work. So I'm just adding a base here, just to get general idea of the flowers, and then for the shadow, I'm gonna go with like a very deep bluish purple, and I'm going to try to make it a little more vibrant than normal because I want it to sort of stick out. The other thing that I'm trying to work on is improving contrast, right? As much as I like teaching you guys techniques, there's also a lot that I feel like I'm learning on my own as well. So, playing a lot with color and experimentation. I don't want to go too harsh here. This is not quite the value I need. I need something a little bit darker. And I don't want to go too crazy. I just want to put it in the darkest areas. Just so it really stands out as something kind of unique. And the more I'm developing this difference in contrast, the easier it'll be for me to take away the line art. I'm all aflutter with what artists I want to study at the moment. My heart is in dark fantasy and artists from there. Interest in my work is in mecha at the moment, and that's a different group, and my current skill level can't match any of them. Oh man, I can relate there. Learning is fun, hearing the thought process is informative, even when you aren't dead certain on your choices yet. I look forward to how this comes out. Thank you. Yeah, I can really relate to, having a desire to go one direction, but the interest of your work is in a totally different direction, right? Like, I really want to go with things that are very, you know, light and flowy and kind of soft and crystalline and, very feminine, I would say. But as you've known from my streams, that's not really, what I've done much, right? That's not really how people think of my work, I would say. So I can very much relate to your interest being in a different area than what the current zeitgeist is, let's say. So that's sort of one of my goals, is to try leaning in more to what I want to be known for, right? Again, like, this is not something I'm gonna go super, super deep into for a while, but it is a huge part of your brand, right? How do you want people to think of you? And I don't think that my brand at the moment is reflective of the kind of work that I really want to be doing. So it's a balance, right? We get client work, or we get, you know, a huge interest in mecha, and we have to make sure that we're still doing a lot of things that that appeal to what we want to do, so that we don't become too known for one thing. I mean, if you want to become known for one thing that's completely within your interest, yeah, more power to you. That's the dream. But you want to be careful how you're being perceived. And that's brand, right? How you're being perceived. So I think that, for me, is definitely something that I want to be working on. Alright. Just sort of going in here. I'm not going to use the same color blue for everything. I'm just sort of using it as my establishing base. Because right now, these are not the best colors, and I'm very aware of that. Alright, let's change the value here a little bit. Let's get a little bit more purple in there. Because bright red and bright blue are not good combinations. So let's try cleaning that up a little, right? I want to be careful that I'm making a huge... And this is very experimental, right? I'm trying to go with a technique that I don't normally explore. So this could get a little messy, but that's okay. We're playing around, we're having fun. I want to make sure that my most prominent color is still going to be red. So I want to keep that in mind as I go through the painting. And it's probably gonna take me a while to get used to, but I also want to sort of do my best not to be rushing too much. You know, not trying to turn this into like a we'll finish in like, you know, X amount of challenge time. I kind of want to step away from that. I want to just sort of work on making some nice pieces. I can be a little faster right now because at the moment I'm really just establishing base color. Make space for your passion. Your unique voice is important. Everyone's is. Yeah, it's really, honestly, it's hard though. It's really tricky. I personally was not aware until someone had pointed it out to me. They're like, you haven't your portfolio hasn't been changed for like over a year. Like, I've been doing commissions, right? And I like doing those commissions. I like working with those clients. I really do. But my own work took such a back seat. And then I tried doing the whole thing that I set up for August, right? But then that kinda... that's its own can of worms at the moment. But in terms of, like, really nice pieces, I really let that go. That's sort of been on the... that sort of got thrown to the wayside by accident. Not intentionally, but... so I'm sort of trying to go back and revisit and figure out where things are, where things are. I'm gonna play a little bit around with, just gonna try to balance these colors a little nicer. I think they're not quite going in the direction they need to. That's better, I think. Oh, yeah. Alright. Change the vibrancy a bit there. And then we definitely need to add some more yellows and oranges. We need to sort of brighten this whole thing up. And then I'll probably do a little bit of like a color mixing so that this red is not all the same red. It's not entirely unified, right? But this pop of yellow kind of gives a bit more life to things so that the colors don't look as flat and drab, right? It's still a little bit of like a Cirque du Soleil color scheme, so we do want to fix that. It's really hard to add multiple colors into a red piece, I think. Because red is such a strong color on its own, it doesn't need as much help. Whereas, you know, what I realized is that something like blue, for instance, probably one of the reasons why if someone had to ask me what my favorite color was and I couldn't pick multiple, I would say blue. And it's such a calming, neutral color that something like a full rainbow matches really nicely with it. They play well together, you know? The blue sky with rainbows looks very, very natural. Whereas something very intense like a red, it doesn't play as nicely with all the other colors. So making something that feels a little bit more fantastical with punching the colors, using red as your base, is not the easiest thing in the world. Branding and being able to project yourself into the world is very hard. Injury doesn't help. Yeah, true. The orange makes a difference? I think so, yeah. It definitely sort of is adding more life. Let me intensify it. Like, if I'm imagining the sun hitting from over here, then I want most of the light to be coming from the left side, right? Alright, and then I need to sort of add the middle section here. I'm not actually sure what type of flowers these are. I love red for its intensity, but you're so right about mixing it with things in a pleasing way. Yeah, I would imagine that you would have a better idea than anyone. There's certain things that make it very tricky, I think. It's so powerful that it needs to, like, be on its own. It wants to be on its own so bad, and to make it play with the other colors, it resists so much of it, or tries to absorb them. Alright, I'm just gonna start going back to working on the vase, because that's a very blah vase, and it doesn't match the intensity of these flowers. So we're gonna go back to this vase, and we're gonna push this a little more as well. Why is this? Oh, it's locked because of the flowers. That makes sense. So I'm gonna figure out where the water line is here. And then I'm gonna, again, be pushing the intensity in both directions. And then we're gonna push a little bit more of that highlight area. Now this is definitely something that I do not have down yet, in terms of crazily adding color. I'm just very inspired by a lot of other artists, and it's something that I'm constantly learning how to improve, right? So this is mainly a game of play for me. Like, I know it's not where it could be, but it's definitely further along than I used to be. And that's a huge part of it, right? Sort of our beat yesterday motto. I'm almost getting to the point where I think I can start getting rid of the line art. Almost. I want to try to get this intense flash when you shine a sunlight on a glass. You kind of get this, like, very intense in the corner here. There's sort of a shadow here that fades out. Should probably have it going in one direction, so maybe more this way, since I was mentioning the direction of the sunlight. And when you're learning about shadow, it's very strong, it's very crisp when it's closer to the object, and then it gradually fades out. So this can sort of be a little looser. And then there's this very intense, I'm actually going to make a new layer on this, and I'm going to have it on a glow layer. There's a very, very intense sunlight that sort of peeks through the vase here. And it's this beautiful play of light against the edge that just makes things sparkle. You don't want to overdo it too much, but And if it's a little too intense, then I'm going to go back in with my eraser, and I'm just going to... I'm trying to get the rays. If they don't quite look right, then I might just get rid of them, but I want to play with a little bit of extra texture, you know, not just having blobs. So something like that. Daishima, hello! Welcome in, welcome in! I just woke up. Good morning. Are they chrysanthemum? Maybe. My moss for my terrariums has arrived. I think one type in it is star moss. Is there a name for that? That's funny. Alright, is there anywhere else that I can add it, or is it sort of wanting to be? It's... I think a little bit on the edge is okay. Try not to overdo it. I want to be sort of selective about where I'm putting this, but... Man, I love iridescence and light play so much. And I want to try to just keep putting more of that into my work, because it's just, it's so fun how intense things can get. And I might try doing overall just a little bit on the water here, just so that it feels lighter and more clear. Maybe I'll reduce that a little bit so it doesn't overpower, but just to make the water feel a little fresher, right? Kind of makes me think of like the Pokemon Suicune, right? Like purifying the water. That intense light is the thing I will always forget. I really need to get back to school soon and learn more things. Ron, your schoolwork is paying off so much. You've been, like, absolutely killing it recently. I'll hoard all the line art, not get and cherish it, and call it Bob. Yeah, I think what I'll probably do, to push the directional lighting is, like, kind of... Well, I'll experiment with the background. I feel like the background might need to be more... The light's coming from here. I don't know. I could try making a difference here, but maybe having it overall lit is better. Maybe something like that. It's very subtle, but it's just a little bit brighter and less uniform. We had this before. This sort of changes the uniformity of it, I think. Although I want to warm this... I want to make this color look less gray. How can I do that? I need a saturated layer of something. There we go! Now the background's a full rainbow. What am I doing? That's gonna end up looking so gray. I want to intensify that. There we go. That works. I accidentally made the background rainbow. I'm not even sorry. It totally doesn't match the feel of these flowers, so I think the flowers need a little bit of a color adjustment. I think the flowers need to be a little bit brighter. So maybe let's try a bit of a level correction here. I'm just gonna sort of push things a bit brighter, a little bit more vibrant. And I'm going to go back and intensify the shadows further. But they just need to feel more alive. And I'm also going to do a little bit of a color balance shift so that these are a little less overall purple feeling. I need a little bit more yellow in them. It's a little warmer. Yeah, less purple, a little warmer. That's good. I don't want to lose the fact they're red. They're starting to look a little bit orange, so I do want to be careful of that too. But, you know, maybe we'll change the shadows. Make this a little bluer. A little bit of cyan is good. Okay. Bringing back a bit of that vibrancy. I think what I will probably try doing at this point is blending it if I can. So, trying to soften the color application, less brush strokey. I'll leave it a little bit brush strokey, but I don't want it to look too rough. I'm just going over here real quick and sort of softening all the strokes. Very simply. You know, here I am, talking about how much I don't want to be a Bob Ross VTuber, and I think this is the most Bob Ross-like stream I've done. Not trying to, but... Alright, don't want to go too intense there. And... okay. This is, yeah, we're getting to the point where we don't really need the line art as much. See, it's holding itself together. That's good. That's good. We're holding it together. Hello, hello, Smudge. Welcome in. How are you doing? I'm making a gallon of yogurt for the first time, and it's almost done besides chilling in the fridge. Why a gallon? That sounds like so much. I actually quite like the sharpness in this. I need to sharpen it a little bit more. A Bob Ross, like, stream after break is not a bad thing. Yeah, that's true. That's true. I find it amusing, if anything. That's the other thing that I also want to try improving in my own work is, I want to also try sharpening things. Because I do feel like, especially with the brushes I use, I need to start looking. Brushes do not make the artist, but there is for me anyway, there is sort of a tendency to end up working a certain way based on the brush. And I think I need some brushes that are a little bit less soft and a little more heavy textured, because I want my work to look a little bit crisper than it has in the past. And I always use the same, like, I basically use the same brush for 90% of my work. Hang on one sec here. I'll be right back. Oi. Okay, alright, we're good. Forest creatures being menaces sometimes. We're good, we're good. Am I working on a glow layer? Why do I feel like this is not... What layer am I working on? Alright, I'm gonna turn off that for a minute so I can focus on the actual color here. Whew. You didn't hear any forest creatures? They must speak on a different frequency we can pick up on. No, they're just trying to break into the studio. Oh, I'm using the wrong brush. It's like, why is this so soft suddenly? This is the brush that I use for like 90% of my work, is this sort of oil painting mimicked looking thing, except it doesn't have that thickness of oil. So it just sort of looks like a really soft digital brush. So I need to start experimenting with different brushes. I'm gonna work on some stuff, have fun with the forest animals when you break into the studio shortly. They are hard to control sometimes, but Daishima, have a great rest of your day. And thank you so much for stopping in and saying hello. I really appreciate it. Pursued in your profile picture name? If you don't remember, I'm Leslie Eastwood. Oh, okay. So would you like, I'll refer to you as Smudge going forward. I'll focus on whatever you prefer with your screen name. It's hard for me to see, but the suit looks cute. Brushes might not make the artist, but they have uses, and knowing your tools and which one to use where is its own skill. New brushes can be fun. Yeah, true. I usually use, like, brushes for very specific things, like I'll use them for stamps and whatnot. But I need to start applying more of them to my general workflow. Right? I think that that would be useful. I should be working too, but this is more fun. I hope I'm not distracting you too much, but I'm glad that this is still enjoyable for you. I'm gonna sort of experiment with the pacing of the streams. Like, just in general, over the next few sessions. Like, for me, I think this is something where I'm not trying to go, like, crazy intense with anything, and I could probably keep this up fairly decently. I'm gonna add a little bit of reflection here, and it's going to create a bit more of a rainbow effect because we're combining, like, a red, a yellow, a blue here. I'm willingly letting myself be distracted. Alright, fair enough. I'm going to figure out the audio thing later, though, because I imagine it's a bit awkward. So that's definitely something I'll focus on fixing for next time. Alright, and this is gonna be a little bit more, less crazy colorful because it's just sort of the background piece. I have the urge to draw a page of ghosts. Drawing ghosts or watching this. If you can just, like, you know, if you want to do both, if you want to work and chill, then you're perfectly welcome to do that. Alright, I'm trying to figure out how this would appear. This is like how the sticks would appear, basically. I think I need to add a little bit of a reflection over here. And then these are kind of suspended.